The X-Zone radio and TV show is largely an opinion talk show. All opinions, comments, or statements of fact expressed by Rob McConnell's guests are strictly their own and are not to be construed as those of the X-Zone radio and TV show or in any manner endorsed by Rob McConnell, Relmar McConnell Media Company, Talkstar Radio Network, its affiliated stations, or employees.
All Hit Radio.
Welcome to the X Zone, a place where fact is fiction and fiction is reality. Now, here's your host, Rob McConnell.
Nobody can tell you there's only one song worth singing. They may try and sell you 'cause it hangs them up to see someone like you. But you've gotta make your own kind of music, sing your own special song, make your own kind of music, even if nobody else sings along. You're gonna be nowhere.
And welcome to the X-Zone, everyone. My name is Rob McConnell, and for the next 4 hours, I'm your host and your guide as together we cross the time-space continuum to this place that I call the X-Zone. It's a place where people dare to believe and dare to be heard. It's a place where fact is fiction and fiction is reality. And the X-Zone comes to you Monday through Friday from 10 p.m. Eastern until 2 a.m. Eastern, right here on the Talkstar Radio Network, X-Zone TV, and on shortwave. Also across the United States, Canada, Central America, South America, the Caribbean, the Pacific Rim, 20 Asian countries, and now in Europe on the Talkstar Radio Network. The rest of the world, if there is any left, can be listened to on our streaming audio at talkstarradio.com. On tonight's show, we have David Warner. He's going to be joining me in a few minutes. We're going to be talking about out-of-body experiences and near-death experiences. Hour number two, we have Dr. Bruce Cornett joining us. We're going to be talking about everything from paleontology to UFOs. James Gilliland will be joining me to talk about a new documentary that is coming out entitled Contact Has Begun. And in hour number 3, my good buddy Superman and I will be doing an open mic, and there's 3 questions we're going to be asking you, the X-Zone Nation, to talk to us about tonight. Do you believe that the object witnessed by a handful of people in Stephenville, Texas, was in fact a large extraterrestrial ship? That's the first question. Second question. Do you think that the military has to tell the general public what it's doing? All right, I understand that taxpayers pay their salaries, but taxpayers don't expect the police department to tell them every criminal investigation that they're working on, so why should the military? That's the way I look at it. And finally, what are your feelings about the North American Union? Hour number 3, the lines will be open. I'm asking you for your comments, X-Zone Nation, and of course our toll-free number is 1-877-528-8255. That's toll-free throughout the U.S., Canada, Alaska, and Hawaii. My email address is xzone@talkstarradio.com. On MSN Messenger, you can chat with me here in our studios at talkstarradio@hotmail.com. And our 2 websites, www.xzoneradio.com and www.xzonetv.com. Today is Tuesday, February the 5th, and on this date in history in 1887, almost 4 inches of snow fell on the city of San Francisco. On this date in 1917, Mexico's Constitution was adopted. And in 1937, President Roosevelt proposed adding 6 more judges to the U.S. Supreme Court, but Congress said no. Today is the birthday of singer Bobby Brown. He turns 39. Barbara Hershey turns 60 today. Corey Wells turns 65. And today is Mardi Gras, also known as Fat Tuesday. It's always 46 days before Easter. And let me see. And also this month is the wedding month. Are you ready for this? The wedding month. I guess because of Valentine's, hearts are open and And people just want to be lovey-dovey at this time of the year. All right, and what we found out that, let me see, during her lifetime, the average female will spend 2 weeks kissing, buy 665 pairs of panties, have 1.5 blind dates, spend 6 days shaving her legs, spend 49 years worrying about her shape, admire a man's shape 35,939 times, and just for the fun, the average woman will take 32 showers with a member of the opposite sex. And this is according to the latest American Pulse survey. There you go, ladies. Something to look forward to in the month of love and Valentine's. When we come back from this 2-minute commercial break, David Warner will be my guest talking about out-of-body experiences and near-death experiences right here on the Talkstar Radio Network on the X Zone Radio Show. Also live from our studios in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada. And you can watch and listen to the show Monday through Friday from 10 p.m. Eastern until 2 a.m. Eastern at www.xzonetv.com. I'll be back in 2 minutes as the X Zone starts for today, Tuesday, February the 5th, right here on Talkstar.
I was in my early 40s with a lot of life before me when a moment came that stopped me on a dime. I spent most of the next days looking at the x-rays, talking about the options and talking about sweet time. I asked him when it sank in that this might really be the real end. How's it hit you when you get that kind of news? Man, what you do? And he said, I went skydiving, I went Rocky Mountain climbing, I went 2.7 seconds on a bull named Blue Manchu, and I loved deeper, and I spoke sweeter, and I gave forgiveness I've been denying. And he said, someday I hope you get the chance to live like you were dying.
Welcome back, everyone. Our special guest this hour is David Warner. And for David A. Warner, everything around him was fading. He lost awareness, finding himself second later waking into darkness. With his heart racing, he being covered in sweat and experiencing memory loss, he ran for his life out of his brother's dark basement room. Running upstairs and down the hallway towards his bedroom, a flicker of memory ignited the event. Striking like lightning, he immediately froze with chilling vibrations moving up and down his spine, acknowledging his first out-of-body experience, or OBE. On July 27, 1987, he experienced an event that forever changed his way of thinking and maturity, such that included life after death, self-realization, a spiritual awareness. This has helped him facilitate in-depth documenting and scientific research into the OBE. And David Warner, welcome to the X Zone.
Hey, Rob. Thank you.
Dave, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, I'm at present, I'm 40 years old.
Mm-hmm.
I'm married. I have my wife, Katie, and I live in the Grand Rapids, Michigan west side of the state. I'm an IT consultant, also a musician, and I'm a big computer geek.
Oh, now, the out-of-body experience that you had, what was it like when you realized that, hey, wait a minute, I'm a spirit, I'm the essence of who I am, but my physical body isn't here?
Well, in that first experience, I didn't understand what was really going on. I came across it by accident, and how it led up to that moment in time is I was actually reading this book by Janet Lee Mitchell, on scientific evidence of supporting afterlife, life after death, out-of-body experiences, and I was just so just avid and just so passionate about reading this book, I just couldn't put it down.
Mm-hmm.
So at that moment, I was really tired because a few days beforehand, my family and I, we just experienced a flood in our basement, and we were just working around the clock just to, clean everything up, and so I was just absolutely tired. So I decided to take a nap, and basically with that on my mind, still wanting to read the book, that was my catalyst to actually experience that out-of-body via the consciousness, that awareness. And during that episode, all I could just remember is, like, I want to read this book. I want to read this book. And as I started drifting upward and out, I didn't understand what was going on. I just passively just relaxed. A few seconds later, I'm looking down at the bed. Most people that have either an out-of-body experience or near-death experience report seeing their physical body. In this type of situation, I did not see that. The only thing I saw is that my brother's bed and a big red apple on the bed. And I'm like just thinking to myself, I'm like, this is absolutely makes no sense. Where did this come from? And at the time, it was also daylight on the other side, but in the bedroom, it was dark. So the whole perception, the room was static, nothing really changed except seeing that apple and not being able to see my physical body. And then from there, it felt like I had maybe about 4 or 5 beers, but incredibly aware, conscious, just alert, but still really confused of what was going on. So I decided from then I wanted to read the book as I was up and about, and I started to put my shoes on, and each time I tried putting my shoe on, my hand would pass through my shoe. And I couldn't figure out for the life of me. Again, you would think that'd be like the red flag. Hey, things are not right here.
Yeah.
But it just didn't register. I started getting really upset, and I said, screw it, I don't need my shoes. I'm just going to walk across the cold floor with my bare feet, and that's it. And as I started to drift across at least the floor or above, about 5 to 10 feet as I got towards the book, I started falling backwards immediately. And all of a sudden, a deluge of thoughts just started racing through my mind. I'm falling backwards. I'm going to hit the bedpost. It's going to hurt like a SOB. Mom and Dad are going to find me on the ground, on the floor. There's going to be blood everywhere. They're going to freak out. I have to go to the hospital. And on top of it, my brother's going to be pissed because he has to be the one to wash everything up and the blood. But, split second, I'm back in my body, waking up in complete darkness. My heart's just racing 100 miles an hour, and I absolutely have no memory of what happened. And I'm just like, what? I was just absolutely dumbfounded. I was just speechless. So I bolted out of the room, went running upstairs, down the hallway towards my bedroom, and it right then and there, it just struck me down like lightning. My memory returned, it ignited, and I realized the whole event, it just flickered what just took place, my first out-of-body experience. And ever since then, it's been a very humbling and wise, and it's been a 20-year-plus spiritual experience for me.
How do we differentiate between an out-of-body experience and a dream? Because the way you described your experience sounded like a dream. You fell asleep with the thought of the book on your mind. You really wanted to continue reading that book. So it gave you implanted a subconscious seed in your mind. You drifted off to sleep. You started dreaming about it. Or what do they call them? Incubated dreams.
Yeah, there's a lot of good, discussion and debate on the lucid dream and the out-of-body experience.
Mm-hmm.
And as for, what I have found in my own research over the 20 years, especially when you have physical and spiritual validations, and they parallel and align to that, to those experiments, you start seeing those trends of consistencies.
All right,
now,
but I have to bring you back to my initial question.
Yeah.
How do you know that this wasn't a dream, but an out-of-body experience?
Oh, definitely. It wasn't a dream. Usually in a dream-type setting, you have a lot of incongruity. You have a lot of, it just doesn't make sense. It's just, things are just like way off kilter. I mean, you're just absolutely unconscious. You're not aware. You're just going about this. As for the high level of energy and the vibration and how clear it is and how things remain static during the experience, those are some awesome and excellent keys to see the differences between just a dream and the actual experience. And as I said, I've had so many validations in the last 20 years. It's a personal experience, and this is something that once you start recording the data and you're honest, you're true to it, then you start to see for yourself how the pieces fall into play, and you see the different levels and layers of consciousness. Like example, you can be in a dream but still out of body, and then as you awaken, you're like in a kind of like a fantasy daydream, and you break out of that, and you're in that environment where things absolutely shift and change. But as you go along in the experience, it's all static all the way through.
Now, what scientific evidence is there that an out-of-body experience is real?
Well, the information that is out there on the out-of-body experience, as I explained to you earlier, it is a personal experience. And this is something that, one has to do the tracking itself. I mean, there's a lot of different institutions that study this, especially on the near-death experience where patients are in, the process of near-death or a traumatic event where they are easily, propelled out of their body, looking at a distance, looking down. Now, I'm just going to give you some brief scenarios of validations that I have had, and I've documented this. Let's see, it was like last October. I had the video camera recording myself as I'm sleeping, and then I had my animal, it's a Scottish Terrier, his name was Leroy Brown, and he was on the bed with me. Now, I was able to leave the body, but I didn't realize what was happening at the time, and this is more where I classify as a false waking, where I think I'm actually getting up, but I'm actually not physically, but I'm spiritually caring about a certain task. So I was out of body. I saw my animal, Leroy, and then as I started to move around into the room, Leroy got off the bed, and then from there, my other two dogs joined him, which is Kai and Spirit, and they started to run upstairs. And then as I caught up to them, immediately I noticed that one of the dogs, which it was probably our youngest dog, Spirit, she urinated on the carpet. So it's like I was at the time pretty upset. I figured, well, I'll take care of it, not a big deal. Now, during the experience, I let the dogs out. It's daylight outside. It's also, we're talking like October, little rain, little cold, and I'm just seeing, the rain coming down, not a big deal, totally oblivious that I'm out of body. And as I started to go back downstairs to go back to bed, I looked at the front door, and it's raining.
All right, David, stand by. We have to take a commercial break. Please hold on to that thought. We'll come back right after the news and some words from our fine sponsors. David Warner is our special guest, www.invisiblelight.us. And we'll be back after the news as the X Zone continues from our studios in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada, on the Talkstar Radio Network.
There's a new kind of television station that presents movies without commercial interruption that you can watch without any sort of subscription fee. Find out online at whitesprings.tv. The people who bring you Talkstar Radio have a television network you can watch for free on the Internet, direct from space on your own small dish and receiver, or on a growing number of TV stations and cable systems across America. White Springs TV TV presents a great mix of movie greats and not so greats, as well as more recent family-friendly titles. The movies are commercial-free. Between the movies are cartoons, soundies, previews, classic TV, and two-reelers. Go to whitesprings.tv. That's www.whitesprings.tv. A service of White Springs Media, a new kind of commercial-free movie channel you can watch for free.
Are you questioning your future in the year 2008 and what lies ahead for you in matters of family, love, finance, employment, and travel? Do you have questions that have been haunting you and now you're seeking guidance and the answer to these questions from those on the other side? If you have said yes, then you need to call Premier Psychics right now. At Premier Psychics, talented, gifted, professional psychics will help you find the answers to the questions that you seek and help you on life's metaphysical journey. Call Premier Psychics now, toll-free at 1-866-803-6593, or visit Premier Psychics online at www.premierpsychics.com. Know today what the future holds for you. Once again, call Premier Psychics toll-free at 1-866-803-6593, or visit Premier Psychics online at www.premierpsychics.com, where the extra E in Premier stands for excellence.
Hi, this is Ken Elliott. When I'm floating around the universe, I always try to tune in to Rob McConnell.
Hi, ho there, Trinity Frog on Sesame Street. When I want to find out what's going on with UFOs or ghosts, I listen to the X Zone with Rob McConnell.
This is Les Corrigan from Target Internet Development. You're listening to Rob McConnell on the X Zone Radio Show.
This is John Hogue, prophecy scholar, and you're listening to Rob McConnell in the X Zone.
Welcome to the X Zone, a place where fact is fiction and fiction is reality. Now, here's your host, Rob McConnell.
Blinded by the light, wrapped up like a douche, another runner in the night. Blinded by the light, wrapped up like a douche, another runner in the night. Blinded by the light, wrapped up like a douche.
Still to come on tonight's show, we have Dr. Bruce Maccabee, James Gilliland, and Open Mic with yours truly and my producer tonight, the one and only Superman. That's coming up tonight here on the X Zone. My guest this hour is David Warner. We're talking about invisible light. And David, thanks very much for joining us. And before we went to the commercial break, we were talking about the out-of-body experience that you were having and how it affected your animals.
Mm-hmm. Yes, getting back to what I was saying is after that OBE, had ended, I had awakened and I played back the actual videotape, and I noticed that my dog Leroy Brown, that was Scottish Terrier, he was still on the bed, and he had picked up what was going on about 30 seconds before I had awakened. Now a day later, the next day, around the morning time, I tried projecting, I failed, and I was having problems with the two other dogs upstairs. So I went upstairs to separate the two, and somehow they both got out of the cage. And what was interesting is I went running after them, and as I got down to the bottom of the steps, turned the corner, one of the dogs urinated on the carpet. And I kind of stood still there. I'm thinking, wait a minute, this happened in my experience the day before. And as I walked up to the front door, opened up the door, it's raining out there. So, I mean, the consistency, with the video of what my dog had picked up and seeing these different things that occurred during the OBE, I was able to pick up some precognitive validations through this. And this is not just, one experiment one experience that I've had. I've had over hundreds of validations like this, or even straight cut to the chase that there is no question about that you can argue it. And the more that you research the data, you're honest about it, you'll start seeing it as a personal, and the validations do come through.
But if it's a personal experience, how can other people who have not had this experience validate it and take it seriously?
Well, I mean, when how can you take something like this seriously? I mean, we as a society, we talk about the near-death experiences, the OBEs, and when you take it to a clinical level, a medical level, in studying, it's not really accepted, except for like the near-death experiences and how much media that it has generated. And there's just so many people that are out there, clinical, PhDs, professors, medical doctors that have, experience after experience of, worldwide, people explaining their stories, like the consistencies of, the tunnel, love, the energy, absolutely forgiveness.
We know that the near-death experience is being taken seriously now by the medical community and the scientific community. I'm not debating that at all.
Yeah.
My point is, you said that an out-of-body experience is a personal experience. And how do you validate it then? If, once again, how do you know it's just not a dream?
Rob, again, I rely on what I have tracked personally for myself and what I have validated with others. Not just, my dog, but, playing card experiments, communicating with friends that I've been able to validate things to. And, yes, this is something about my research that I would really love to go into a clinical setting, to scientific setting, to where we could actually do these tests and perform this, not just like on a week basis, but over a long period of time, and learn more about this and see what we can pull out of it.
What do you think?
The OBE and the NDE, there's just so many similarities between the two, it's just hard to ignore. And when you experience it for yourself, there's no question or doubt because of the energy, the vibrations, the clarity, and the consciousness, and again, the personal validation is what I'm getting at.
All right, but what is the ultimate significance of an OBE?
What would be the ultimate significance? This would be definitely for the person who's interested in this, is to validate for themselves, is there a soul? Is there life after death? Are we human? I mean, does it end when, we're buried 6 feet under, after our death? Does the soul, does the spirit, do we survive? And this is something that had really, attracted me to this, pulled me to this, to find out.
All right, but what does an out-of-body experience have to do with death? Because you can't have an out-of-body experience if you're dead.
Well, true. But I'm saying an out-of-body experience in itself, I guess either maybe I'm a little confused about your question.
I thought they were very straightforward questions.
Okay. Well, in this case, this scenario, the OBE, as you were saying earlier, this is just something that it's a spiritual, it's a spiritual awakening. It's something that you can learn from. You can actually find out more of your inner self and how you can better yourself internally and externally on both sides, not just one side, but physically in relationships and everything else.
How?
Well, example, through my experiences, I've become a hospice volunteer, a companion to the dying. Okay? That's one scenario. I'm also a mentor of a foster care program with children. I'm also very active in my local community church. And there's other things, too, that when I was younger through the OB experience, people that could not listen to before the internet and, MP3s, where they needed to hear the sermons. I would take part in the church, record the sermons, and run all over town dropping off the tapes so that they could hear this. It makes you a more wiser, more a humbling humanitarian of caring for others, but not just, looking at yourself and say, it's all about me. It's about other people too. And, I see a difference in my relationship with my wife, with my family and friends and other people that I've come across, through my website. I mean, my website is not just about the data of the OBE. I have people asking me about questions about their marriage, about their drug problem, about so-and-so who had passed on, or, my son's 13 years old, is involved with this. What do you think? I mean, it really makes you a diverse person to help others and to reach out. And that's really the base.
Let's just hold on a second here, because now you've got me totally confused.
Okay.
What does your OBE have to do with solving other people's problems?
Well, I'm just saying on a humanitarian level of helping
what's it got to do?
people.
Well, what's it got to do with helping other people?
It's a spiritual awakening. It's an experience that when you do go out about it, you realize that it's just not about you. It's
all right, okay, I understand that. I understand that. But why would people go to you asking you advice about their 13-year-old son if an out-of-body experience is a personal experience?
Why would they do that?
Exactly. What gives you any more credibility to help them solve their problems just because you have an out-of-body experience?
That's an excellent question, and that is just something that if somebody emails me about that information requesting, I can tell you and your listeners until the cows come home about my credibility, my research, my documentation, and if you either believe or you don't.
No.
That's fine. Okay,
we started off talking about an out-of-body experience,
Rob,
and the next thing that I know we're talking about that you're giving advice to people over the Internet because of your personal experiences with out-of-body experiences. And I cannot, for the life of me, see the connection.
The connection is that if somebody, I'm saying how this has helped me to help others, to reach out to others through the out-of-body experience, okay?
How has it helped you? Explain
How does it help me?
Yeah.
Okay, scenario here. Okay, I'm a hospice volunteer. I go to hospitals, nursing homes.
Mm-hmm.
I am there for the patient that is dying of cancer, and they're crying, and I'm holding their hand, and I'm holding them, giving them love. I mean, through my out-of-body experience, that is a product that has helped me to open up to be able to do that and to be able to understand, it's just not about going out of body on these, weird trips or validations, but how it has really moved me as a person to help others. And that's something right there.
Okay, I can see the connection between your work in a hospice. I can understand that what it does for you personally is something that you believe to be very spiritual, and it helps you on a personal basis.
Mm-hmm.
On the other hand, I know many fine nurses who work in hospices, geriatric wards, cancer wards, who have never had an out-of-body experience, and they are the most loving people in the world, my wife being one of them.
Mm-hmm.
But when it comes to the out-of-body experience and how you help other people within your church's congregation and people who come to you for advice on the Internet, I cannot make this connection.
Okay, well, the connection would be basically this, okay? I am not a psychic.
Mm-hmm.
I do not have any special gifts, okay? I do not claim that I am the next resurrection of Christ or Allah or whoever, okay?
Mm-hmm.
I am just a David Warner, that I do have these experiences, that I've been able to document this, and if something I say that might help somebody from a spiritual point of view or a medical or a relationship point of view, it's being an open ear to help somebody else in that type of scenario. Why should that person trust me? They don't have to. They don't have to believe me. But if I can make an ounce of the difference to help the next person, maybe save a marriage, or somebody from, ODing or having relationship problems, I don't ignore those emails that people do send me.
Have you taken any courses that would qualify you to give out this advice? And what are your liabilities if you give the wrong advice out?
No, I have not taken any courses, okay? And this is just more generalization. I'm not a therapist, okay? And I'm not a professional MD, okay?
So how can you give out medical advice? How can you give out relationship advice if you're not?
Okay.
Aren't you?
I'm just saying, if somebody in passing comes up to me, asks me a question, hey, this is what's happening in my relationship, normally what I usually tell them is that this is what I perceive, okay? I can explain to you what I see, but you're the one that really has to make the final judgment in this. And also, if it's above my scope of professionalism, or if it's above my scope of helping them, if it comes down to like teen suicide or whatever, then they have the outlets to go to somebody that is professional. Okay.
So why would you get involved?
So does that make sense?
No. So why would you get involved in the first place? Because you said, as I see it. So does this mean that people may...
Okay, Rob, let's just say this. Okay,
wait a second. Hold on here.
Okay, no, Rob.
Hold on here. Pot him down, please, Superman. Thank you. My show, not yours.
Okay, whatever.
What?
Come on, Rob.
All right, thanks very much for joining us. Get rid of him, Batman, Superman. Sorry, I don't take this crap from anyone. 1-877-528-8255 is toll-free. My name is Rob McConnell. I think the guy's a charlatan. I think he's trying to put himself off as a guru instead of someone who has just had out-of-body experiences. I think the guy's dangerous. How can you give advice to people when you really don't have any expertise? You fly around the universe in your own little world in something that sounds more like a dream to me than anything realistic. And bang, this gives you the authority to talk to people about what they should do with their kids, what they should do with their relationships, what they should do. Oh, God, give me a break. Speaking of breaks, why don't we take one here? I'll be back on the other side of this commercial break as we continue on the Talkstar Radio Network from our studios in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada. Send me an email, Exxon. Tell me what you think. Exxon@TalkstarRadio.com. Like I tell our guests, don't come on this show and try and con me or my guests or my listeners because you're gone. And that's why he's gone. I'll be back on the other side of this break. Don't go away.
Do you sell dietary supplements? If so, you may know that the Food and Drug Administration and the Federal Trade Commission regulate your sales presentations. Violation of the federal rules can lead to stiff penalties. You really must know the law. Fortunately, help is just a phone call away. Law Talk Incorporated has produced a CD series, 4 CD interviews with renowned attorney Jonathan W. Emord that explain the legal limits on sales presentations. The CD series guides you through FDA and FTC regulation, explaining the law that governs sales presentations, website content, and health claims, as well as global restrictions on supplement sales. This is a must-buy for network marketers and supplement companies alike. To obtain the CD series, call 1-888-RU-FREE-1. 1-888-RU-FREE-1. That's 1-888-783-7331. Call today.
Whether it's the arrival of Planet X in 2012, the Earth's crazy weather cycles, our deadly global warming, Armageddon, UFOs, ETs, terrorism, the critical mass 2008 presidential elections, Dr. Jason Rand talks the talk and walks the walk. Being a twice-nominated Grammy record producer, recording artist, publisher, lecturer, UFO ET researcher and investigator, and best-selling author of
The Return of Planet X, Mankind's Ongoing Legacy with a Brown Dwarf Star.
Dr. Jason Rand truly does walk the walk and talk the talk. For more information on Dr. Jason Rand or to order The Return of Planet X, visit his website at www.returnofplanet-x.com or call 901-336-9660.
And where will you be in the year 2012?
There is freedom within, there is freedom without. Try to catch the deluge in a paper cup. There's a battle ahead, many battles are lost, but you never see the end of the road while you're traveling with me. Hey now, don't dream it's over. Hey now, when the world comes in, they come to build a wall between.
And welcome back to the X Zone, everyone. My name is Rob McConnell. 1-877-528-8255 is toll free throughout the U.S., Canada, Alaska, and Hawaii. My email address is xzone@talkstarradio.com. On MSN Messenger, talkstarradio@hotmail.com, and our two websites, www.xzoneradio.com and www.xzonetv.com. And later on this week, the launching of our brand new X Zone Radio and TV European Union website, and we're really excited about that. First of all, I'd like to thank each and every one of you who sent me MSN messages and emails over the past 4.5 minutes. Yeah, that guy was just full of himself, and you know what? I think that people like this are a threat. You know, like, well, first of all, who would go on the internet to ask somebody who's had an out-of-body experience about problems that they're having with their family, their relationships, or, you know, whatever? These people need help, and they're going to a person who needs help. Scary. And I've said this many, many, many times, that the internet is the greatest septic system ever invented by man. I don't know. This world is getting stranger and stranger. And, of course, we're going to blame it on 2012. We're going to blame it on Planet X. And, by the way, tomorrow night, our first guest is the one and only Dr. Jason Rand, who wrote The Return of Planet X. He's going to be with us. We're also going to be talking about the new website, www.projectbluelight.net. Things you need to know today. Approximately 97.5 million people watched the Super Bowl, making the New England-New York the most watched edition of the contest since 1996. The buzz in France these days is that President Sarkozy, who just married a 40-year-old Italian actress after dating her for just 3 months. Yeah, good for him. Hey, hats off to this guy, I'll tell you. 40% of all Valentine's Day cards are purchased by parents for their children. Let me see. Catherine McPhee married producer Nick Kokas on Saturday. She's 23. He's 42. Nothing wrong with that, is there, guys? How's Pamela Anderson going to celebrate Valentine's Day? Well, she signed up to star in a couple of striptease shows at the Crazy Horse in Paris, France, February the 13th and 14th. I'm not going to touch that one. Wesley Snipes has been found not guilty of tax fraud and conspiracy, but guilty on failing to file a tax return and could face up to 3 years in prison. Yeah, like that's going to happen. Let me see. Speaking of Brittany, her stay in a psychiatric ward has been extended for 2 weeks. They must have found some more drugs for her. 48% of adult Americans say they would rather help someone move than to deal with a computer problem, and boy, isn't that the truth. And Kelly Brooks says she and fiancé Billy Zane will get married this year. They canceled the ceremony last year following the death of Kelly's dad. And let me see, Madonna and Guy Ritchie plan to reunite their wedding vows, or renew their wedding vows this summer and exchange eternity rings. And finally, Kylie Morg is back again with ex-lover Oliver Martinez. And that's it for everything that you should know, besides just, you know, like, if you're having a dream, make sure the dogs don't wet. 1-877-528-8255 is toll free. My name is Rob McConnell, and we're coming to you live and around the world from our beautiful studios in the wonderful city of Hamilton, Ontario, Canada, on the shores of Lake Ontario, in the province of Ontario, in the greatest country on this planet, Canada.